Hello world, welcome. It's Luann Pygott. It is Sunday morning, and I am doing my ministry live today where I'm going to sing for you, read some Bible verses, and give you some thoughts about that. And the title of my live today is The Arsenal. And I actually got that from something my mother told me a week or so ago. And I'm like, oh, that's incredible. I'm going to do a live on that. So here is a thought I had. The enemy fights, because this is happening. This happens in churches. This is also happening on the app that I belong to, because I know God is really behind this. And so when God is behind something and God is doing something and something good is happening, the enemy comes to try to destroy it. Of course he does. So the enemy fights first from without. Now you saw that a lot in churches where attacks came against the church from outside and then from within. So the enemy wasn't successful in destroying the church from outside, so he joined the church and is trying to destroy it from the inside. It's a lot more effective. So there's more than one inside. So you have attacks from the outside. And then you have a group of people that you belong to, whether it's a family, it's a work area, it's a group of you trying to minister together in a church. He joins the church, he joins the group. He will work within people that are in your immediate circle. That's one level of inside. The other level of inside is in you. He will also fight inside you. So that he's going to attack from the outside. He's discovered over the centuries that's less effective. So then he's going to fight from within your inner circle, the circle of people in your family or the circle of people that you're ministering with, which can be both. Your family can also be the people you're ministering with. He's going to fight you from your inner circle of people that you're trying to do something good with. And he's going to fight inside your own soul to try to destroy you individually. I asked, when I was talking about this with my mother one day, and I'm like, I just don't understand in some ways why God picked me. What about me? And I think there's more than one reason. This is one reason. One of the reasons that God told me is, why did he pick me to do this work that I'm doing on this Toxic Abuse Anonymous app? How is it he picked me? One day he told me, you've been faithful in the little things. Now I am giving you the big things. And I forgot to turn my TV off. Let me get that real quick, because that's distracting, isn't it? I usually turn that off. I see it flashing back there. I'm like, what am I seeing? I didn't turn the TV off. I got used to it on. And the other thing that God told me is, now I'm going to make you ruler over the big things. I'm going to make you rule. You've been faithful over a few things. I'm going to make you ruler over many. And he actually told me that one day. And Mom, when I was still saying to Mom, I sometimes wonder, why did God pick me for this? And she said, because you have an arsenal. You have an arsenal. The thing is, you have the same arsenal I have. But are you accessing your arsenal? What is an arsenal? An arsenal is a collection of weapons that are usually kept in some sort of area. They're there, but are you using them? Are you picking them up? Are you making them a part of your life? Over the last 9 years and over the last 7 months particularly, I have been trying to access and bring on the arsenal even more strongly in my own personal life. In my own personal life, because that's where the first attack you need to resist is the one coming against you personally. And because I've been trying to make this more a part of my life, starting with trying to say positive, biblical, godly words into my circumstances and not just complain about things, but rather say what God says. I've been trying to alter my words and then say, well, if you're going to do that, you got to do these other things with it. And so, take up the helmet of salvation, take up the breastplate of righteousness, take up the shield of faith, take up the, gird your loins with truth and the gospel on your feet, all those things. So you got to do all those things because that's the armor of God. And the sword is actually a weapon. Sword of truth is, it's not just armor. It's a weapon. God's given us weapons. And also it tells you praying is another weapon that you have. So because I've been trying to pull these more into myself and make, and not just have them. It's like, okay, I have a weapon. Here, I got it. I'm just holding it. Or it's right there beside me. It's right there. Right there. Okay, well, that's not good enough to have it right there. Okay, so I'm just going to hold it. Okay, that's right. I'm just holding it. This is like what I think we're doing. We either have our weapons that God has given us in our armor. We've got it, we're like right there. It's right there. Sitting in front of me. It's right there. I can grab it if I want it. Or, okay, we get the feeling that that's kind of inadequate. And so then I'm going to pick it up. And I'm going to hold it. Okay, I got it now. What good's this doing? It's a pencil. I'm just holding it, but I got it. It's mine. It's mine. It's my weapon. It's my armor. But what's it doing? I just dropped it. That's not good either. Don't drop it. So what does it do? This is not what it's made to do. I'm not made to just hold. It's not made for me to just possess it. It's not made for me to just have it say it's right there. What is it made to do? Well, I got to write with it. Well, if somebody came to hurt me, I can stab you with it. I can do something with it. It's made to do something. Well, I can erase with it. I can correct with it. If I'm just holding it, okay, God said, this is my weapon. But you're not using it. Just holding it. You know how much good that's doing you? None. Other than if you actually decide to use it, you do have it in your possession. So that's good. But you need to put it into action. And I've been trying to put the weapons and the armor of God into more action in my life than it's ever been before. And then suddenly he picks me up and drops me in this app thing that didn't even exist, let alone me ever hear about it. It's just only existed since April. And it's brand new. It's for people who have suffered from a broken heart. You feel like you're in bondage and you've had a toxic relationship. You've gotten out of the relationship, but you still feel heartbroken. And you just, why can't I get over it? It's been months. It's been years. Or maybe it's been weeks or days. And you're like, how come I can't get past this? You may even have God. You're praying about it day and night, right and left. And you're like, I still am hurting. I still feel like I'm bound to this person. It's called a trauma bond. It is actually a chemical reaction in your brain. And there is a way to overcome it. Yes, still pray about it and have God help you, but you can help yourself as well while you're praying and letting God help you. And there's a program on that app for that. And if you go to the link tree in my bio, you will see how to get to that, or just message me and say, how do you get there? And I will send you the link. You can go check it out. You can check it out for free, the app. And then you can also upgrade and if you want access to everything. But when Mom said to me, He's put you there because you have an arsenal. And I'm like, oh yeah, I do, don't I? And I don't just have it. I've been using it more. It's a big difference. You know, I didn't even think of any of this before I sat down. Not a bit of this. It's just coming to me now. I don't just have it. I've been using it. Do you have the armor of God? Are you actually using it? Do you have the weapons God is giving us? Or are you just holding it? Or are you using it? Because I've been wielding the sword. Because I've been holding the shield. Because I've been using it. I've been activating that stuff. He said, okay, now that you are using those weapons and that armor like you're supposed to, like a warrior, I'm now going to put you in a battle. Battle for people's souls. And I'm going to read Isaiah 59, 15 through 18 and 21. It says, yes, truth is lacking. And he who turns aside from evil makes himself a prey. Do you know if you turn aside from evil, you have made yourself a prey? P-R-E-Y, prey. That means somebody a predator is after. The predator is Satan. It's our enemy. This just says right here, he who turns aside from evil makes himself a prey. He's coming for you. That's why you got to have this armor and not just possess it. You've got to be using it. You've got to be using your arsenal. Because if you've just turned aside from evil and you turn to do good, predator is coming for you. And don't think, well, I'll just stay in the evil then. And then I won't be able, no, predator's already got you. The predator already has you. If you are in a life away from God. What happens when you turn from evil and turn to God, you get out of the hands of the predator and he gets mad and he comes after you. So you're going to be in his grip or he's going to be after you, one or the other. But you have an arsenal against him. Let me start that over. Yes, truth is lacking. Most people don't know. And he who turns aside from evil makes himself a prey. Now the Lord saw, and it was displeasing in his sight that there was no justice. See, he doesn't like this. He doesn't like this. And he saw that there was no man and was astonished that there was no one to intercede. Then his own arm brought salvation to him, and his righteousness upheld him. He put on righteousness like a breastplate and a helmet of salvation on his head, and he put on garments of vengeance for clothing and wrapped himself with zeal as a mantle. What this is saying is when God looked down and saw there was nobody to intercede for us and that we were prey to a predator, he looked and said, no, this is not justice. This is not right. This does not please me. So he put it on himself. He took on flesh. He brought the salvation. He used his own arm and his own power, his own breastplate of righteousness, and became our Savior. And as for me, this is my covenant with them, says the Lord. My spirit that is upon you, and my words that I have put in your mouth shall not depart out of your mouth. This is one of your strongest weapons in your arsenal. Two of them. The Spirit of God that is upon you. That's one. The Spirit, it says, my spirit that is upon you, and my words I've put in your mouth. There's two of your strongest weapons. I never really even mentioned these as much. I did start with your word. I never got to my spirit is upon you. Ooh, that's a good one. We can't miss that one. Two weapons in your arsenal. One. Gosh, this is a powerful one. That shouldn't be missed. My spirit is upon you. That is what people in this app are seeing when I'm sitting on the Zoom call and they say, I don't understand why me looking at you. I'm just looking at you in this video and you are calming me. You aren't even talking, but you're calming me. And I thought, what? Now I'm a calm person, but still I'm like, what? Nobody's told me that before in my life. Just looking at me, my countenance. Why? Why? God's Spirit is upon me. That is why. What you see when you see me is you're seeing the Spirit of God that is upon me. If you look at me and say, oh my gosh, you have such peace, you have your countenance, you're seeing God. You're seeing God. Why? Because it ain't me. It's not me without him. My words that I've put in your mouth shall not depart out of your mouth. And I'm being able to share with people. There are people God is changing their lives on this app and turning them to him. I don't mean they're just he's changing their lives by healing their broken heart. Yeah, that too. That too. That's the purpose of this app. But God's changing people's lives and turning them to him. And they are telling me. And they're telling me it's because of you. And I think, I've not done anything. But God is doing it through me. I don't even know he's doing it. 1 Corinthians 10, 3-5. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war according to the flesh. And we're not fighting each other. This is, to me, one of the biggest problems with people. When you have the fight from outside, the attack from outside of you, that's easier to overcome because you recognize that's an attack from the enemy because you don't know those people. But when it comes from your friends or your family or your church family and people that you're trying to minister with, you're like, oh, that person. Ooh, that person is my enemy. That person is probably being used by the enemy, but that person is not the problem. Your enemy, Satan, is the problem. And if you can attack the correct enemy, and they have to do it too, if together you can bind together and attack the correct enemy, you will be set free and they will be set free and that attack will be gone. The problem is people don't do that. People attack the people because that's who they see is hurting them. That's who they see is the problem. This person just wasn't here. If that person wasn't there, it'd be somebody else. Some people are not going to allow God to let them do right, and they're going to continue to do wrong, and unfortunately, you will have to probably get away from those people. But that doesn't have to be that way. That choice is up to them. But if you recognize the enemy and are fighting the correct enemy, the actual problem, and not what looks like the problem, you and them can be saved from the attack. But we don't always recognize who's the real enemy. Even though we know it in our head, when we have a person or a few people coming against you that you know, and you thought they were your friends or your loved ones, you look at that and say, they are fighting me. Satan is using what they're doing, whether they know it or not. They might know it and they might not know it. It might be inadvertent, it might not be intended, or they might actually just be being mean. But it's still coming. You've got to find the source of the attack. They're just being used. But the source of the attack is Satan. And that's who we need to fight with this armor, not each other. And then the other one, I said, sometimes you can have an attack in you alone. A war going on within your soul, your mind, your spirit. That is the enemy that you also need to attack. Not you. Not whatever else you might think it is. Circumstances. It's the enemy that still needs to be attacked with the weapons. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not walk according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for pulling down strongholds, casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. Isaiah 54:16-17, behold, I myself have created the smith who blows the fire of coals and brings out a weapon for its work. God is the one that's creating the weapons, and I have created the destroyer to ruin. He has created weapons that will ruin the enemy's attacks. No weapon that is formed against you will prosper. Notice that it doesn't say there won't be weapons formed against you. As a matter of fact, this is actually telling you there will be weapons formed against you. It doesn't say if there are weapons formed against you. It says no weapon that is formed against you will prosper. There will be weapons formed against you. Just be ready with your own attack, but attack the right thing. Every tongue that accuses you in judgment, you will condemn. There will be tongues that accuse you in judgment. It doesn't say if. It just says every tongue that accuses you, it's going to happen. You've got to be ready. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their vindication is from me, declares the Lord. Vindication for all of those things that are being done wrong to you is from God. Zechariah 4:6, then he said to me, this is the word of the Lord to Zerubbabel, saying, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. All of our weapons, all of the arsenal that he's given us is ineffective without the Spirit. If you don't have the Spirit of God, all of those things, this is like a continuation of my arsenal. I didn't even realize it. A continuation of my weapons talk. Without it activated by the Spirit, it's useless. It's just you holding the pencil. It's got to be activated. It's only activated not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit. And when it's activated by a Spirit, it's going to be doing stuff and affecting people, and you don't even know it. And I'm living proof of it. 2 Corinthians 6:7. We commend ourselves in the word of truth, in the power of God, by the weapons of righteousness for the right hand and the left. It's telling you right there, you got a weapon in this hand, weapon in this hand. Sword, shield. There you go. You need weapons by the power of God, weapons of righteousness. And I'm going to sing this song real quick. I sang this once before. It's an old song. It was actually from 1935. It is called, what is this called? It's actually a chorus. Oh, and I had another chorus tied to it. Maybe I'll do it. I haven't even practiced this. Let's hope I can do it again. It's called Keep on the Firing Line. That's what it's called. You must... Oh, that's not the right key. You must fight, be brave against all evil. Never run nor even lag behind. If you would win for God and the right, just keep on the firing line. You must fight, be brave against all evil. Never run nor even lag behind. If you would win for God and the right, just keep on the firing line. want to win those battles, if you would win, you got to keep fighting. You got to keep fighting. And here is, and don't forget, he's going to fight for you. You think, oh, I'm tired, I can't do all that. Just go out. He's going to take over and do it. But you got to be out there with your weapons and the Spirit of God. Jeremiah 20:25. The Lord has opened his armory. Did you notice that? I didn't realize that was in there. The Lord has opened his armory. He's got one. I told you. There's an arsenal. He's got it in the armory. That's the place you store your arsenal. The Lord has opened his armory and has brought forth the weapons of his indignation. What is he indignant about? Unrighteousness, injustice. Those are the things he's indignant about. He has opened his armory and brought forth the weapons of his indignation. And it is, let me try this again. I'm not reading it right. The Lord has opened his armory and has brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For it is a work of the Lord God of hosts. This is his plan. This is his work. This is the way he has it set up. He has an armory with your arsenal. Go get it, and don't just hold it and set it in front of you. Start using it and activating it. And the Spirit of God will come upon you, and those weapons are so much more effective than you even know is happening, because it's happening. Be very blessed. Till next week. Goodbye.